The crowd always chants his name when he steps into the ring. At 28 years old, Malcolm Carter is at the prime of his boxing career, yet every fight feels like a battle for respect. He's a powerhouse, a chiseled 6 feet 2 inches with a reach that makes opponents think twice before stepping into his range. His sharp brown eyes burn with focus, and his movements are fluid yet lethal. But Malcolm isn't just a fighter. He's a survivor. Raised in the rough streets of Newark, New Jersey, he learned early that life doesn't give second chances. His father, once an amateur boxer himself, was taken from him too soon, a victim of street violence. His mother worked 2 jobs to keep the family afloat. For Malcolm, boxing wasn't just a sport. It was his ticket out, his chance to build a legacy. Inside the gym, he's relentless. Outside the ring, he's quiet, reflective. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, every word carries weight. He's been underestimated his entire life, and he's used to proving people wrong. Malcolm's days begin before the sun rises. At 5 a.m., his alarm blares, and he's up before the city stirs. His first stop? A 5-mile run through the streets of Newark. The pavement beneath his feet reminds him why he fights, not just for belts, but for respect, for legacy, for the kid who grew up with nothing. By 7 a.m., he's at Titan Boxing Gym, a dimly lit, sweat-stained temple of discipline. The smell of leather and chalk lingers in the air, and the rhythmic sound of speed bags echoes through the space. His coach, Reggie Old School Thompson, waits for him by the ring, arms crossed. "You're late," Reggie grumbles, even though he knows Malcolm never is. Malcolm smirks. "Nah, you're just early. Training is brutal. 2 hours of mitt work, sparring, then conditioning drills that push his body to the limit. By noon, he's drenched in sweat, muscles screaming, but he doesn't stop. He's got a title fight coming up, a shot at the North American Boxing Championship. Lunch is simple: grilled chicken, brown rice, steamed vegetables. No distractions, no indulgences. His only focus is the fight. The afternoons are for strategy, watching tapes of his opponent, working on weaknesses, refining footwork. His evenings? More training, more running. By 9 p.m., he's exhausted but satisfied. He showers, heads home to his modest apartment, and falls asleep knowing he's one step closer to his dream. Titan Boxing Gym isn't flashy, but it breeds champions. The walls are lined with cracked posters of legends: Ali, Tyson, Hagler. It's a place where egos get checked, and only the toughest survive. Reggie, his coach, is an old-school trainer with a sharp tongue and an even sharper eye. He's been in Malcolm's corner since he was a teenager, molding him into the fighter he is today. Then there's Jalen, lights out, Harris, Malcolm's closest friend and sparring partner. He's the only one who can match Malcolm punch for punch, and their battles in the gym are legendary. And finally, Sophia, Malcolm's longtime girlfriend. She's his rock, the one who reminds him that he's more than just a fighter. But lately, she's been worried. "You're pushing too hard," she says one night as he ices his knuckles. "You've been training nonstop. I just don't want you to lose yourself in this." Malcolm exhales, staring at the bruises on his hands. "I can't afford to lose, sophomore." She reaches for his hand. "Just don't forget who you are." Despite his training, Malcolm feels it. The weight of expectations. The whispers that he's good, but not great. The reminder that he's not undefeated. He's lost before, and some people think he'll lose again. His opponent, Dante the Destroyer Rodriguez, is no joke. He's undefeated, a knockout artist with a vicious right hand. The media is hyping him as the next big thing. They're saying Malcolm's just another stepping stone. That thought keeps him up at night. The fear of failure. The fear of being forgotten. As he stands in the empty gym, staring at his reflection in the mirror, he clenches his fists. "I'm not a stepping stone." But doubts still creep in. And soon, he'll face the greatest test of his career. The energy inside Madison Square Garden is electric. Over 20,000 fans fill the arena, their cheers reverberating through the walls. Spotlights cut through the air, illuminating the ring where 2 warriors are about to go to war. Malcolm Carter sits in his locker room, his hands wrapped tightly in white tape, his knuckles already throbbing from the warm-up. The low hum of the crowd outside feels like distant thunder, growing louder with each second. His coach, Reggie, leans in. "You hear that, kid? That's respect." Malcolm doesn't respond. He keeps his eyes closed, focusing on his breathing. He's been here before. He's fought in big arenas, stood under bright lights, but tonight feels different. It's not just about winning a belt. It's about proving that he belongs, that he's not just another contender. A sharp knock on the door. It's time a staff member calls. Malcolm stands, rolling his shoulders. He locks eyes with Reggie, then Jalen, then Sophia. "You know the plan," Reggie says. "Work the jab, stay off the ropes, and don't let him bait you into a slugfest." "Got it." Malcolm nods. "Got it." But deep down, a part of him wonders if it'll be that easy. The moment Malcolm walks out of the tunnel, the arena erupts. Fans chant his name, but others scream for Dante Rodriguez. The atmosphere is hostile, filled with doubt, expectation, and pressure. Dante stands in the ring already, pacing like a caged animal. He's taller, heavier, and looks like a man ready to break bones. The announcer's voice booms over the speakers. Fighting out of the blue corner, the undefeated knockout artist, the reigning North American champion, Dante the Destroyer Rodriguez. The crowd roars. Dante raises his fists, flashing a smirk. Then, the announcer turns to Malcolm. And in the red corner, the challenger, known for his iron will, the pride of Newark, Malcolm the Iron Will Carter. Malcolm lifts his gloves. The noise is deafening, but he only hears his heartbeat. As the referee gives final instructions, Dante leans in, whispering just loud enough for Malcolm to hear. "You ain't built for this." Malcolm doesn't react. He just stares. The bell rings. Round 1. Dante comes out aggressive, launching powerful combinations. Malcolm moves, weaving, dodging, trying to control the pace. But Dante is relentless. Every punch feels like a sledgehammer. Malcolm blocks a hook, but the impact rattles his skull. He fires back, jab, jab, cross, but Dante doesn't flinch. The first round ends, and Malcolm's already feeling it. "Relax," Reggie tells him in the corner. "He's strong, but he ain't invincible. Stick to the plan." Round 2. Dante keeps pressing. Malcolm tries to counter, but his timing is off. A right hook clips him, sending him stumbling back. The crowd roars. By round 3, Malcolm's ribs are screaming. His vision is blurry. Dante is bullying him in the ring. The worst part? Malcolm knows he's losing. Then it happens. Midway through round 4, Malcolm sees an opening. He steps in, throwing a sharp uppercut. But Dante is faster. A thunderous right hook explodes against Malcolm's jaw. His world goes black. Time slows as his body collapses to the canvas. The crowd erupts. The referee starts the count. 1, 2, 3. Malcolm's ears ring. His vision is hazy. His body refuses to move. 4, 5, 6. He hears Reggie's voice, distant and desperate. "Get up, Malcolm. Get up." But his limbs feel like concrete. His lungs burn. His spirit wavers. 7, 8. And for the first time in his life, Malcolm doubts himself. 9. The referee's voice echoes through the roaring crowd. Malcolm blinks, his vision still blurred. The arena lights burn his eyes, and the canvas beneath him feels like quicksand. 10. No, not like this. With every ounce of willpower, Malcolm pushes himself off the ground, stumbling to his feet just as the referee extends his hands to wave off the fight. "I'm good." Malcolm gasps. "I'm good." The referee hesitates, searching Malcolm's dazed eyes before nodding and signaling for the fight to continue. Dante smirks from across the ring. "Should have stayed down," he taunts. Malcolm doesn't respond. His jaw aches, his ribs scream, but the fire inside him refuses to go out. The next few rounds are brutal. Dante, sensing blood, pressures Malcolm relentlessly. Every punch rattles his bones. Every dodge feels slower. The once fluid movement of his footwork is now stiff, clunky. By round 6, Malcolm is barely hanging on. "Damn it, Malcolm, where's your head at?" Reggie barks in the corner. "You're fighting like you already lost." Malcolm leans against the ropes, chest heaving. His reflection stares back at him from the big screen above the ring. a warrior on the verge of defeat. Maybe Dante was right, a poisonous thought whispers. Maybe I'm not built for this. But then he looks past the screen into the crowd, and he sees Jalen, his little brother, on his feet, fists clenched, shouting, "Come on, Malcolm, you got this. Get up." And beside him, Sophia, hands clasped, eyes filled with belief. Malcolm exhales. This fight isn't just about him. It never was. Round 7. Malcolm feels something shift. The pain is still there, but something stronger drowns it out. Determination. Dante charges, throwing a wild right hook. Malcolm ducks. Jab, jab, cross, snap. His fist slams into Dante's jaw. For the first time all night, Dante stumbles. The crowd gasps. Malcolm presses forward. He's found his rhythm. He starts moving again, dodging, countering, slipping punches like the Malcolm Carter who tore through the ranks. Dante's smile fades. He's never seen this side of Malcolm before. Round 8. Malcolm is still down on the scorecards. He needs something big. Dante, frustrated, swings wildly. Malcolm sees the opening, a fraction of a second, and he takes it. A devastating left hook crashes into Dante's ribs. The champion grunts in pain. Malcolm follows with an uppercut. BM. Dante's head snaps back. The crowd erupts. The tides are turning. Was there enough time? The bell for round 9 rings. Malcolm and Dante meet at the center of the ring. No hesitation, no fear, just two warriors locked in battle, their bodies battered, their lungs burning, their pride on the line. Dante's expression is different now. The cocky smirk is gone, replaced by frustration. This was supposed to be over. Malcolm was supposed to stay down. But now, Malcolm is stronger than ever. Dante throws a thunderous right hook. Malcolm dodges. Jab, cross, uppercut, crack. Dante stumbles back off balance. The crowd is on its feet. The energy in the arena is shifting. Dante charges again, swinging wildly. Malcolm ducks and counters with a brutal liver shot. Dante grunts, his knees buckling for the first time. Reggie shouts from the corner. Now! Malcolm sees his moment. This is it. The moment he's trained for. The moment he was built for. Dante throws one last desperate punch. Malcolm slips it. Boom! A perfect right hook detonates against Dante's jaw. His body collapses like a falling tree. The arena erupts. Dante's head hits the canvas, his arms sprawled. The referee rushes over, begins the count. 1, 2, 3. Dante's chest rises and falls, but his eyes are vacant. 4, 5, 6. The entire arena holds its breath. 7, 8. Dante stirs. His hand twitches, his mouth gasps for air. 9, 10. It's over. Malcolm collapses to his knees, overwhelmed by emotion. Tears well up in his eyes, not just from the pain, but from the journey, from the doubt, from the struggle, from the fact that he did it. Jalen is screaming from the front row. Sophia is crying. Reggie is pounding the mat in celebration. The announcer's voice booms through the speakers. The winner by knockout. Malcolm the Iron Will Carter. The belt is placed over his shoulder, but it's not the gold that matters. It's what it represents. That he belongs. That he never needed anyone else's validation. That he was built for this. The cheers are deafening. Cameras flash. Reporters push forward, shouting questions, but Malcolm barely hears them. His chest heaves. His hands tremble. Not from exhaustion. From a realization. He did it. He looks across the ring. Dante is still on the canvas, his team huddled around him, helping him sit up. His swollen eyes meet Malcolm's. For a moment, there's only silence between them. Then Dante nods. Not a word. Just acknowledgement. Respect. As Malcolm steps out of the ring, he barely has time to react before Jalen barrels into him, gripping him in a tight hug. You did it, Jalen shouts, his voice cracking with emotion. Malcolm chuckles, ruffling his little brother's hair. I told you, didn't I? Jalen wipes his eyes. I never doubted you. Malcolm looks at him and knows that's not true. There were times when he doubted himself, when the world told him he wasn't good enough. But Jalen always believed. And tonight, Malcolm proved him right. Microphones are shoved in his face. Malcolm, how does it feel to complete one of the greatest comebacks in boxing history? What was going through your mind in the final rounds? Do you have anything to say to the doubters? Malcolm grips the championship belt tighter. He could say a lot. He could talk about the pain, the struggle, the nights he thought about quitting. But instead, he simply says, "This isn't just my victory. This is for anyone who's ever been knocked down. For anyone who's ever been told they're not good enough. Getting hit isn't what defines you. Getting up is." The reporters scribble furiously, cameras flash. But Malcolm's already done talking. His actions spoke louder than words ever could. Later that night, Malcolm sits in the locker room, ice packs pressed against his ribs, the adrenaline finally fading. Sophia sits beside him, resting her head on his shoulder. "So what now, champ?" Malcolm exhales, staring down at his bruised knuckles. He won. He proved himself. But this wasn't the end of the road. It was just the beginning. He smirks. "Now," he says, "now we do it again." As they step outside the arena, the cool night air washes over them. Malcolm looks up at the sky, dark, endless, full of possibilities. Just like his future. A car pulls up. He holds the door open for Jalen, for Sophia, for Reggie. Then, before stepping in, he glances back one last time at the stadium lights behind him. This place saw him fall, and this place saw him rise again. He smiles. Then he gets in the car and drives toward whatever comes next. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of resilience and triumph. Let us know in the comments, what's the time he got knocked down but fought back even stronger? Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you rise.